looking at the bottom side of our air box, what we're going to do is we're going to make our air intake right in this little area here. We'll have a piece of 3-inch piece of 3-inch wide piece of metal. We're going to put it right here. We're going to bend it to this contour of the air box. After we get that bent, we're going to take a piece of 2.5-inch exhaust pipe. We're going to cut it to match this angle here. We're going to weld it to our piece that we just fabbed up and bent, and then pot rivet it to our air box, along with sealing it with some RTV sealant on the bottom side. Then we'll go through and before we rivet it on there, we'll actually cut the inside of where the exhaust pipe goes to give our air a place to go through, so it won't be blocked off. And once we pot rivet it on there, we'll cut the inside of the air box out, and that'll give us our air intake. With our bracket made, it's going to fit in the bottom of our air box. Now we can cut our exhaust pipe. With our exhaust pipe cut, it's going to fit right in this location here. We'll go through and we will measure how long we want it to come out. We'll cut that on our saw. We'll come back and we'll weld it to our bracket, and then cut the center out for our air intake. With our bracket made, now we can cut out the center. Using a drill, a grinder, and a Dremel tool, we got it cut out. It looks ugly, but it works. Using some RTV and some pop rivets, we're going to mount our adapter right here in the air box in this location. With our hole cut out, now we can place it on our air box. We've already pre-drilled 4 holes in our box. We'll go through, make a mark. Let's see, here we go. Make a mark, press it in on the box, pull it off, drill our holes for our pot rivets. And what you can do, my advice would be doing one at a time. Make the mark, pull it off, drill the hole, put a pot rivet in it, go to the next one. Go through, make your mark, pull it loose, drill the hole, come back and do it. That way when you get finished, all of your holes line up. Then what we'll do, we'll take some RTV and we'll coat the bottom side of our air box and the bottom side of our adapter. Set it on there, come from the bottom side, and pot rivet it in place. Then we'll come through with a hole saw or whatever we use to cut this out, and we'll cut out the inside of this air box to give the air a way to travel into it. Now with our pot rivets in, holding our bracket on, we can take and we clean off all of our RTV, which I use Ultra Blue. Had an extra tube laying around the shop. Clean all of that off, and now we can go through with a Dremel and or a hole saw and cut out the center. With our hole cut in our air box, now we can take our Dremel and widen this out a little bit. Do a slight porting job on it to get it matched up perfect with our new air intake. With our new adapter cut out on the inside of our air box, we can finally mount this back up into the bike. With our air box bolted back up and our new air inlet installed on our air box, we can put a rubber coupler on our air box that we can use to put a piece of 2-inch PVC, a 45, to route our intake forward. Our air intake is going to come out of our box, take a 45 going towards the front of the bike. If you come out of the bottom, if you don't do your bracket like this, and you just come out of the bottom, then it'll be a 90-degree angle coming back towards the front. We're going to be using a long 90 to go back up to the where it's going to come out of the front of the bike. I would suggest, especially on the air intake side, using long 90s and not hard 90s. Your long 90s are going to not hurt your horsepower as much. Anytime you bend the air at a 90-degree angle like that, your motor's going to have to work harder to pull air into the air box. The longer the 90, the less restrictive it is, the less it's going to impact your air fuel. We're going to place our long 90 in place and get a good feeling about it. We're going to take a piece, just a piece of 2-inch PVC. We're going to place it in the middle, and we're going to figure out just how, get a good guesstimate on how long we need to cut. We'll make our mark, and we're going to go cut it up. With our front PVC cut to size, we now put it together with our long 90, slide it up in between our frame and our radiator, and connect everything up. Now, one thing that we're not going to be doing is gluing anything. We're not gluing anything until at the very end. We're going to have all of our snorkels completely fabbed up and routed the way we want it, to be sure that we clear everything with our steering stem, our tie rods, anything that moves, or anything that it could rub against that could cause a problem. We're going to make sure we have all those problems solved before we glue anything. Now, one of the things that we are going to do, we'll go back and put a drain plug right here. That way, if we are out and we get a little bit of water in our snorkel by rain or splash or anything, we can pull this drain plug right here and drain all of the water that is caught inside of our air box, inside of our snorkel, excuse me. We'll also go and we'll put a drain plug in the bottom of our air box.